Hey, what's up everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to the conversation. So today we're going to be talking about the Eastern Conference playoff, let's say, projections. Okay, now ESPN recently released their projection for how they think the Eastern Conference is going to play out as far as seeding. So let's just get into it. So they have Milwaukee as the number 1 seed. Then they have Boston at number 2, Philly at number 3, Orlando at number 4. Then they have the Toronto Raptors falling all the way down to 5. Then they have Miami at 6. Then they have the Indiana Pacers at 7. And they have the Brooklyn Nets coming in at the 8th spot. Now, let's talk about this for a second. Now, I agree with the first seed with the Milwaukee Bucks, because I believe that Giannis is going to get a little bit better, and if Giannis gets at least 10% better, that's going to have such an exponential difference on his team, because Giannis is absolutely unguardable. We all know this. Now, you may watch this video and say, well, Kawhi Leonard guarded him. Now, how many teams in the NBA have Kawhi Leonard? And secondly, how many teams in the Eastern Conference have a perimeter defender like Kawhi Leonard? So chances are he's still going to run roughshod over the Eastern Conference, and the Milwaukee Bucks stand a very good chance of getting to the finals. And if they do get to the finals and they happen to face the Los Angeles Clippers, then they're going to cross that bridge when they get there. Now, I agree as well with the Boston Celtics being the number 2 seed. Now, if you remember, we recently did a video about the dirty little secret that the Boston Celtics are currently working on, with having their players competing in the FIBA competition, and you guys can check that video out at the end of this video. But I think that the Boston Celtics are going to make a lot of noise in the Eastern Conference this year, and with the addition of Kemba Walker replacing Kyrie Irving, I think they're going to do really well as well. So that seeding makes sense to me. Then you have the Philadelphia 76ers at the 3 spot. That makes sense to me. We're yet to see if Ben Simmons is going to develop a jump shot, and if Joel Embiid is going to be able to be available for the Sixers, especially in the playoffs, but also throughout the season, just to work on his conditioning. Last year he had a lot of issues with his stomach. We don't really know what he eats as far as his diet. So the Sixers always have that question mark. The 2 biggest question marks about the Sixers is, the health of Joel Embiid, and also the reliability of whether or not Ben Simmons is going to develop at least a decent perimeter game, because they're going to need that in the playoffs, especially in pressurized situations. Now, some of you may say, well, Boston has their own issues as well with coaching and all of this. I agree with you. As far as Brad Stevens is not a championship coach, but neither is the coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. I just agree with them having Boston at number 2. Now, number 3, have Boston number 2, and then you got Philly at number 3. Number 4, I don't know how is it possible that we're going to have Orlando ahead of the Toronto Raptors? Now, if you follow basketball, at least if you followed last season, you know that the Raptors were a pretty damn good team, even when Kawhi was not playing under load management. So how is it possible that now that the Orlando Magic are going to go from the 8th seed and they're going to go all the way to the 4th seed? This is the part where I get really confused about these predictions. And I think that these guys, I don't know what they use to measure all of this stuff. Apparently, these guys are supposed to be experts in doing this. And in the rest of the playoff seedings, things just go array. Have different teams, and you even have Brooklyn coming in at number 8. I don't know what they're basing all of that off of. Whereas, because Brooklyn has Kyrie Irving is much better than any other player that the Brooklyn Nets have. So whatever in your place, you're replacing him, D'Angelo Russell's with Kyrie Irving, and yet the Brooklyn Nets are going to be the 8th seed. Whatever. I don't know how these guys come up with these lists, but my question is, do you agree with at least the top 4 seeds that they have in the Eastern Conference? And who do you think is actually going to come out of the Eastern Conference this year to make it into the finals? Do you think it's going to be the Bucks? Do you think it's going to be Philadelphia 76ers? Or do you think it's going to be the Boston Celtics? And do you agree that the Orlando Magic have a chance to make it to the finals? Because essentially, if you have them at the 4th seed, you must think that they have a really good shot to make it into the finals, because they're also going to have home court advantage. Now, you're not going to make a list like this and say, well, playoff seedings don't really matter. Yeah, well, they kind of do, because if you're putting a team in this particular slot, chances are you mean that you're thinking that's the best team. Golden State was an exception to the rule, but they always ended up with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and they lived up to their seeding. They actually always ended up going to the finals. as we can see that over the last 5 years. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree with this list or not? Do you think ESPN is bugging? That's what I want to know from you guys. So if you have an opinion on this, make sure you leave it in the comment section below of who you think is going to come out in the East, and do you agree with the list that ESPN posted? And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can get updated as soon as we have a video that comes out. With that being said, wishing you guys a great day. This is Charles here from DreamersPro. Peace.